Do you ever feel like manifestation is just another thing on your to-do list that you don't have time for? Like your spiritual practice is something that you have to do? Honestly, you're not alone because I felt that way too. Something that's really changed my relationship with manifestation is blending it into my lifestyle so that no matter what I'm doing, I'm also manifesting. I call this manifestation as a lifestyle, and it's single handedly made the entire manifestation journey more enjoyable for me. And I've seen my desires show up with a lot more ease. Manifesting as a lifestyle has made manifestation go from feeling like a task to something I just naturally do because it's who I am. If you'd like to learn more about this, I've created a step by step guide for you. I'll link it in my show notes so you can check it out. You're listening to the Affirmation Addict podcast with Pyle Corley. This podcast will teach you about the power of affirmations while making manifestation easy and accessible for you in order to enhance your spiritual consciousness. Thank you so much for being here, and now it's time to get started. If you're looking for a space to navigate life's light and dark moments, I invite you to download my app, Affirm It. It's an app I crafted to help you create your spiritual practice because I know how hard it can be to manage your energy throughout all the different things life throws at us. So we celebrate the light and the dark. We're not asking you to be positive all the time. We're super, super raw, super real, and welcoming to all the feelings. And so inside of the app, I've created a ton of intentional features to help you with your spirituality. We have daily affirmations to help you stay consistent on your journey. We have guides, practices, and journaling to help you with the self-improvement. And we have guided meditations and visualizations to help you deepen your practice and connect to yourself. One of my favorite things that I've created for the app is actually guided affirmations. So it's something you listen to. It helps you effortlessly reprogram your limiting beliefs. And lastly, we have affirmation reminders. So that way you can get the good kind of notifications and affirm anytime and anywhere. So I invite you to download the app today, start your free 7-day trial, and after that, it's only $4.49 a month, and even less if you do our annual plan. Head to the show notes to download it on your phone today. Hi everyone, this is Pyle, and welcome back to the Affirmation Addict podcast. This is our 100th episode, finally. As you guys know, I've taken many breaks of podcasting over the years. I feel like this is probably the longest stretch that I've been actually consistent for. I feel like I'm in a really good place. So thank you for sticking it out with me. If you have been binging the old episodes, or you're just following along, or you've always been here and have gone with me through all my waves, I'm so grateful for you. So in honor of our 100th episode, I thought it would be really fun to answer some of just the top manifestation questions. And I'm sure I've answered them over the podcast over the years, but I feel like it would be really cool just from where we are today, everything that we know today, answering some of those common questions that a lot of you might have, and just different perspective shifts and different changes on them. So I am going to dive right in, and I hope this episode resonates with you. And actually, in honor of this being our 100th episode, I would love if you had any feedback, if you want to DM me on Instagram or email me on what you would like from the podcast, if you want a different spin off of it. I'm just curious if there's something different. I'm a very solo cast kind of girl. I love just chatting because I feel like that's when I can show up the best. And then I also just love talking about different topics over the weeks. So that's currently how I do it. But if you have like a different structure or a different series or something that you want me to do, I'm definitely open. So please send me any feedback you have, and I will absolutely listen. Okay, so some of our top manifestation questions. I'm just going to start simple. So one thing that I actually surprisingly get a lot is, what are manifestations versus affirmations? So manifestation is the result. Manifestation is the process. Manifestation is like the entire practice, versus affirmations are simply a tool to help you manifest. So I don't think I explained that very well, but manifestation is essentially the act of unfolding. Manifestation is something we're all doing all the time. You don't turn it on or off. It's just something all the time that happens. Manifestation is really what it means. It's the fruition of something showing up in your reality. It's the realization or the awareness that something is in your physical reality. That's one way to think about it. And affirmations are very specific. Affirmations are positive statements intended to help you reprogram your mind, which reprogram your beliefs, which reprogram your reality. AKA, affirmations are helping you manifest. So things that are manifestations, manifestation is something that we're always doing. So you might think of your desires as what you're trying to manifest. And then your affirmations are one tool out of thousands, in my opinion, that can help you manifest, that can help you feel better. So that's kind of the basic definition. But I kind of want to go on a little bit of a tangent on what I really feel manifestation is and just my perspective and how it's shifted over the years. So when it comes to manifestation, I feel like when you first learn about it, it sounds like this insanely cool, magical, kind of better than real thing where it just feels like, whoa, can this actually happen? Like, can I literally get anything I want? It's such an eye opener because you start to really feel that whimsical feeling. You start to feel like, wow, like I'm not helpless. It's a very empowering thing. It's very exciting. And I think the common things that most people, when we get into the manifestation space, we start to hear and we start to learn about, and on TikTok and Instagram and everywhere, manifestation is very directed towards manifesting things like your soulmate or your dream job or more money or your dream home. Those are, I would say, the top 4 things I get questions about on the daily. And I think those are all very physical things. They're in our physical reality. But recently, what's been coming up for me, and I am in a place where I have manifested all of those physical things. So I'm very, very grateful. And I want to help you do that. And my biggest tool, which I'll obviously share more about, that I've used is affirmation. So that's why I called my business Affirmation Addict. That's why my app is called Affirm It, because affirmations for me were always the foundation. And that's just what's nonstop, never failed to work for me. And so to me, that's my favorite tool. It doesn't mean it's the only tool. But one thing that I am really trying to shift into more is, yes, manifestation can happen and we can manifest things in our physical life. We can manifest more money. We can manifest, I don't know, a raise or a free trip. Like we can manifest all of those things, but ultimately, like, what is the point of it? And I love when people are introduced to manifestation asking, why do you want this? So let me ask you, if you are here because you want to learn how to manifest something, why do you want what you want? Maybe you want your soulmate so you can feel more loved. Maybe you want your dream job so you can feel more successful. Maybe you want more money so you can feel more freedom. Whatever those feelings are is actually why you want your manifestation. And I think that is such a fundamental thing to understand to actually, one, successfully manifest, but also take off a lot of the pressure. Because we'll talk about this later. I know I keep saying that, but that's one of my questions is like when things aren't manifesting, sometimes we're putting way too much pressure on it. So I love looking at manifestation as a natural process. I love, for me, my definition, my personal definition of manifestation that really resonates with me is it is a natural unfolding of everything that is meant for me. It is a natural unfolding of all of my desires flowing my way over the span of my lifetime, whether that is physical, whether that is emotional, whether that's energetic, whatever that means. And because I'm at this point where those physical things are not my priority, I don't have a certain amount of money that I really need or want anymore, which I'm very grateful for. I don't have a specific home that I want anymore. Like I have checked off all of those boxes, so to speak. And once you get to that point, you start to be like, well, what is manifestation? How is it relevant to me anymore? And it is so relevant because manifestation is that journey of being that magnet to your desires and being in that high vibrational state and helping yourself get there as often as you can through the daily occurrences of life. So manifestation doesn't mean all your problems are going to go away. Manifestation means, and practicing these tools helps you learn how to navigate these problems from a space of not being affected as you usually would. And it gives you a lot more control over how you feel. And coming back to how we feel, those initial manifestations we talked about, they were all about feelings. So once you get over and get through those physical things, it starts to become a lot more feelings based. It starts to become a lot more abstract. Maybe it's healing a certain part of your body. Maybe it's healing the way you see yourself in the mirror. And it's a lot more abstract, less tangible stuff. And so for me, one of the things that I'm really manifesting now and I'm working through is actually accepting who I am in all my relationships. So I'm really good at accepting myself when it comes in my career, but I'm really bad at accepting myself when it comes to the relationships that I'm really close to. I have this weird thing. It's probably a lens of people pleasing, but I have this thing where I mold way too easily to who I'm around, especially if it's like my close family. And I'm working on that. I'm working on being who I really am in all aspects. And if I like made an Instagram video about that, that might not resonate with everybody because that's not a big thing so many people are trying to manifest. It's so specific and so abstract. But for me, it's so important because it makes me feel more of who I am. So you'll start to notice as you continue your manifestation journey and your spiritual journey, your manifestations will become less and less specific and more feelings based. Like you might know exactly what it means for you, but you might not be able to articulate it to every single person around you. And that's a beautiful thing. Like it's a very fun shift in perspective because it used to be very easy for me to be like, okay, I need a specific home. Let me put that picture on my vision board. It was very tangible. And now it's shifting from tangible to much more feelings based. It's challenging me to trust my intuition. It's challenging me to trust my own self. So that in a very long way was what is manifestation? What is manifestation for me now? How can it shift? And what are affirmations? A little bit more on affirmations. Affirmations are these positive statements, and some misconceptions I want to talk about with affirmations is I really believe that every single statement we're saying is an affirmation, whether we want it or not. Like I really think our thoughts, our words, and the things that we are putting out into the universe, everything counts as an affirmation for me. So I really think my thoughts, so I always work on shifting my thoughts, my words, and even my habits and my actions. I think those are all versions of affirmations. Technically, if you Google it, an affirmation is typically a positive statement, most of the time starting with I am, so present tense, and whatever you want your desire to be. That works. I love that. But I do think looking at affirmations in a deeper sense, in a more sense that resonates with you and where you are on your journey, wherever that is. Because it doesn't have to be this rigid where you have to say, I am happy, I am healthy, I am wealthy every single day. Maybe that resonates with you. And it resonates with me, honestly. Like that is something I do. But finding ways to affirm and work with your affirmations, not just for 5 minutes a day. It's truly a lifestyle. It is truly something that's always on because a lot of people are like, well, I've been writing my affirmations every day. Writing your affirmations maximum takes 10 minutes. 30 minutes if on a crazy day. So for 30 minutes, you're putting all the energy you want forward. And for the rest of those 23 hours and 30 minutes of your day, you're not putting that energy, then obviously think about what is being sent out into the universe. It's a lot of how much of the energy and how dominant is the energy. So when it comes to your affirmations, I don't think it helps people to think about just saying a statement in the mirror for a few minutes a day. I think that should be like the initial practice, but then it is a lot of self-practice. It is a lot of self-observance and self-awareness of, what types of thoughts are instinctively coming? Do I like those? Do I not? What types of things do I talk about with my friends when I'm on a roll? Is it good things? Is it bad things? So it just is a slower journey, in my opinion, to fully embody the practice of affirmations. And that's really what it means for me. So I hope that resonates with you. But in a very beginner, very like, you're starting out, you don't know what affirmations are. Affirmations are positive statements that align with your desires. You say them in the present tense, and you're trying to avoid words like no, cannot, those types of things, because your subconscious mind doesn't understand that. For your subconscious mind, which is what part of your brain we're targeting through affirmations and through a lot of this work is they don't understand no. So if you're saying, I don't want to be sick, your subconscious mind understands I want to be sick. If you're saying I am healthy, your subconscious mind understands I am healthy. So does that make sense? That's like the distinction of why so much of our current language has a lot of no's and don'ts. And we talk a lot about what we don't want. And for some reason that keeps manifesting, it's because that's ingrained in our current way of speaking, our current society's natural flow of language, kind of like as it's developed over time. We easily talk, even if we talk a lot about good things, they might be using the specific words of, oh yeah, I don't want that for me, or I don't want a boss who's rude to me. Like we'll say things like that and we're trying to say it in a positive way, but actually our subconscious mind is understanding it completely opposite because our subconscious mind does not understand words like no and don't. It doesn't understand the opposite. So that's the big distinction. And even just starting with that has made such a big difference in my life and continues to do so. So that is my little tangent on manifestation and affirmations. Another big question that I want to talk about is, can you manifest on a timeline? I'm pretty sure I have a podcast episode on this, and I will link it in the show notes if I do. But manifesting on a timeline. So I will not talk too long about this. If I don't have an episode, I will make an episode for you. But time. So when it comes to the spiritual world and understanding how our universe actually works, time is a man-made construct. If you look into quantum physics, time is our perception. And when people say the only thing we have is the present, that's actually what they're referring to. Yes, it is like a very beautiful thought to be present. But what people are actually saying when it's saying that the only time we have is now is that like the only time we are here conscious is in this exact moment. Time, other than that, it's just a memory or it's just a future prediction. Other than that, time doesn't exist. So all you really have is now. So when it comes to manifesting on a timeline, so maybe you're like, well, I want to meet my soulmate by the age of 25, or I want to move to Europe by the age of 30, or I want this job in 6 weeks. Timelines, it's a weird relationship I have. I unintentionally manifested things on a timeline, but I think they manifested because I didn't have pressure. If there's a lot of pressure, we tend to repel more than we attract unless you have a lot of self-control over your emotions and your thoughts. So I do think it is possible to manifest on a timeline. I think more often than not, the way our humans' minds work, we repel when we put things on a timeline far more often and far more easier than we attract when something is on a timeline. Because if you think about it, so I'm like, hey, I want to manifest whatever, $1 million by tomorrow. I'm like, okay, there's 23 hours left. I'll check my phone. Oh, there's 20 hours left. Oh no, there's only 1 hour left and I have no sign of it. That worry is so much easier for us than the confidence. If over the next 24 hours, I was like, oh my goodness, like I have 24 hours. This is going to be amazing. I feel good. My $1 million is on its way to me. That is much harder for us to truly foundationally believe than it is to believe in the worst. That's currently the way we're wired. That's our ego mind playing through. So my answer to you is yes, you can manifest on a timeline. I do believe it's possible. I actually know it's possible. But I do want to give you a caveat that be mindful if you are trying to manifest on a timeline, there is a high chance that you might unintentionally repel. So if you are trying to use this to build confidence in the process, I don't recommend it. If you already have confidence in manifestation, you have confidence in the journey, and you are in such a safe space, I think you're fine. But if you are in this place where you're like urgent, desperate, I don't know if it's actually going to work for you, and it might make it work against you more than anything. So my invitation for you is, if you are craving a desire to come in a certain timeline, set the intention that it can come, or add this at the end of your affirmations or at the end of your intentions, where you can say like, my desire is for this to come within the next few months, or when the timing is right for me. That way you're leaving it up to the universe, because maybe it's going to come sooner. Like that's a big thing, is sometimes I put these timelines. Like I had a 5-year plan for when I was going to start my business, and it was way too long. My business started a year into my plan. And if it was 5 years today, like actually next year would be the first year I started my business. if I actually hit my plan next October. So in still another year would be when I actually started my business. And so just realizing that sometimes we don't know all of the answers, and that's okay. So when it comes to time, it gives us an opportunity to test our faith in the process, test our trust in ourselves, because time is one of those things that we like demanding and we like acknowledging because it feels like we have control again. So give yourself permission to create more trust by releasing that timeline. And the last question I really want to dive into is, if something isn't manifesting for you, you're doing all of the things, what are some reasons it's not? I honestly could write a whole book on this, seriously. But why something isn't manifesting for you, there are so many reasons. One big thing I want you to ask is, okay, when you are practicing your affirmations or whatever you're doing to help yourself manifest, what is your energy state when you're doing it? Are you excited, or are you doing it as a chore? Like you have to? Does it feel like a drag and you're like, oh, now I have to write my 10 affirmations? If you're not having fun while you're practicing, you're not at the same frequency of your desire, because your desire, like we talked about initially, is in a good vibration. You're excited about it. You feel good about it. So if you don't feel good now while you're practicing, then that's an immediate disconnect as to why you're not on the same vibrational frequency as your desire. When it truly comes to manifestation, don't take this too literally, even though it is literal, but manifestation is this life force, and the energetics of it are as such that it can happen instantly. Like, I kid you not, I have thought of something and I've received an email a second later. Like, it is instant, and it can be instant. If it's not instant, it's because our vibrational alignment is off. And that is my, at the moment, current, raw, honest realization that I'm working on myself. So if it's like I have a desire that's not here, then vibrationally, how am I out of alignment with my desires' vibrational alignment? Right? And so manifestation, the way it works is it's just law, right? Like gravity is instant. It's always there. So is law of attraction. So is law of vibration, and all of the other spiritual laws, where if we are not getting something, instead of saying, oh no, like my practice isn't powerful enough, or whatever kind of self-doubt or doubt in the universe things there are, give it as yourself a signal like, hey, you know what? I am aware that my vibrational alignment is not fully in alignment with whatever I'm desiring. So how can I alter my vibration? Take it as like an indicator rather than as a proof of you're not doing it right, or as evidence as you're failing, because I think a lot of us jump to that conclusion. So instead, if something isn't manifesting and you haven't seen it, what if you looked at it like, okay, well, clearly there's something off in the vibrational energy I'm putting out. So let me focus on shifting my vibration. And a key here is a lot of the times when we are trying to shift our vibration, and say, I'm going to give the example of money, right? We are trying to shift our vibration and how we feel specifically about money. But sometimes the thing we're manifesting, especially if it hasn't manifested for a while, we just start to get frustrated with the process. We start to just have a lot of beliefs, a lot of self-doubt, a lot of just overall doubt in the entire process around that specific topic, right? So my recommendation to you is, don't try and fix your alignment. Don't try and work on only that topic. What if you could just work on you? What if you could just work on you feeling better unrelated to money? Because sometimes we only prioritize focusing in on money or whatever we're manifesting, that sometimes when it's not there, we create even more resistance and even more doubt and even more just negative energy towards it, that we just are becoming farther and farther away from the goal. So my recommendation to you is, if you are working on fixing vibrational alignment for a specific manifestation, try not to only focus on that manifestation. What if you could just focus on your relationship with you? What if you could focus on something totally unrelated? Because we as humans, and the way our current world is if we're not working towards something actively, if we don't have a direct hand in that goal, then how is it actually happening? How is it actually making progress? That is the way our current brains work. And it's kind of messing with us, where we feel like all we can focus on is money or your soulmate. But you're allowed to work on yourself when you're manifesting your soulmate. You're allowed to work on I don't know, your business when you're trying to manifest money, even though it's kind of related. But you know what I'm trying to say is don't only put all of your focus in your practice and your affirmations only towards your goal. You're allowed to just feel better, because if you're not able to feel good about whatever you're manifesting, then I really recommend shifting your attention full force, because it's going to help you release resistance. Because we've all experienced, you think of someone and they call you immediately. That is manifestation. You've experienced where you say something and it comes up right away. That is manifestation. That is that instant timing. And if it's not coming in that moment, then it means that there's some vibrational discord. So affirmations work to help you reprogram. And if those affirmations are not working, then maybe you need to do affirmations or do a spiritual practice in other lenses. The different types of tools you can use to help you raise your vibration. I'm actually doing like this free 30 tips to raise your vibration on my Instagram and on my TikTok. So you can just scroll through and there's a lot of tips in there to help you raise your vibration. But a few of my favorites are, of course, affirmations, because they genuinely make me feel better. Meditating, so guided meditations, guided visualizations, all of that. Those are in my app for you. You can Google them, find ones that resonate with you, or just do it silently. Another one for me is drinking like a drink I like. Like I love cacao or tea or like a nice matcha latte. Those types of things literally make me feel good. It has nothing to do with my goals or my desires, but they make me feel good. So your tips to raise your vibration and to help you manifest is a really good way of looking at how to manifest, is just feeling better, learning how to feel good now so that you can be closer and closer to how you would feel if your manifestation comes. And kind of the thing, an idea I want to close out with that I've really started to understand is a lot of people want to manifest something specific because you think you'll feel better. My goal, my intention is to help you feel better now so that you can actually manifest. So I am trying to help you feel better in this present moment so that you can become that instantaneous magnet for your desires. Whereas a lot of the time we are trying to focus so hard on how do I manifest that future goal, when ultimately you need to feel good now and your future goals will literally come to you faster than you can imagine. That's the law. That's just the way it works. And I've experienced that. And really the reason I'm here today still is because I want to help you do that. So you'll start to see a lot more of my content be talking about feeling good and your emotions and feeling good now. And that's the slight shift I'm taking, because it's really helped me on my journey, and I hope it resonates with you too. And so I want to say thank you. Thank you for supporting us through our 100th episode. And I'm excited for the next 100 episodes to unfold as we move forward in this journey. Hopefully no more podcast breaks. I don't foresee any podcast breaks coming soon. So yeah, I'm grateful for you. I hope this episode was insightful, it was helpful, and if it resonated with you, it would mean the world to me if you shared it on your social media or DM'd me with your takeaways. I love chatting with you guys. I'm always available in my DMs. So thank you, I love you, and I will talk to you really soon. Bye. Whether you're new to my community or you've been here for a while, I think it's really obvious that affirmations are very important to me. The reason they're so important to me is because affirmations have truly helped me manifest my dream job, my dream home, my dream business, my soulmate, and everything in between. And I truly feel like it's my duty to share that forward with you. I've created a totally free masterclass called Affirmations 101, where I teach you how to create your own affirmation practice using the same techniques I use to manifest everything I just talked about. It's absolutely free, so head to the show notes below and just click the link for Affirmations 101 and you can get started right away. I hope you enjoy, and I hope this helps you on your journey. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for listening, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If this episode resonated with you, it would mean the world to me if you could rate and review the podcast and share it on your social media so I know to keep creating episodes that are inspiring you to manifest. I'm so genuinely grateful for the time we shared today, and I'd love for you to join the community by following @AffirmationAddict on Instagram. To continue diving into spirituality and manifestation, head over to my website, affirmation-addict.com. Until next time, I'm sending you so much love and so much healing energy.